Hello, Leo, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a great start to the new year, and let me say to you again, Happy New Year. This will be our first full week of the new year. Your reading is for January 4th through the 10th. So we're coming off of a full moon. We still kind of got that energy lingering around. The full moon is on the 3rd, but it's the 4th, and that energy might still be around maybe for another day or so. And of course, that's a time of just sometimes heightened emotions. Some people might feel a little overwhelmed and anxious, or a little irritable. Some people feel just a lot of high energy. That's what I always feel. So but just kind of get through that. We then move into the waning gibbous energy, which is a really good time for self-reflection and rebirth. And here we are at this time, when we're making New Year's resolutions. And I've been telling other readings, just don't get too overwhelmed with it. Don't make your list so long that it's hard to accomplish things and overwhelm yourself, but just change one thing. If you want to, we get a new cycle. We kind of get a new year every new moon, that we get to try to make those little personal changes, both inner and outer. So, keep that in mind. Of course, New Year's just brings up maybe that whole list, but chip away a little bit as the year goes on. Don't try to do everything all at once. So that's just my fun advice. But let's get into this reading here. So January 4th through 10th, your overall message for this reading is that confidence is your key to success. And that is a new moon in Leo card. Confidence is something Leos are never usually lacking, right? So this will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Leo. So as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And as I'm shuffling, my fun weekly reminder this week is that you take the time to meditate. So if it's not something that you work into your routine, maybe give that a shot this week as you're trying to do all those other New Year's resolution things as well. But if you can at least weekly, a good meditation, bi-weekly, or if you can get in daily, that's also a good thing to do. Just try to work it into your routine, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes when you can. So that is my fun weekly reminder for you this week. Let's get into this reading, January 4th through the 10th. Confidence is your key to success. Your present energy right now is the Hermit. So you might be, you're going within, really, asking yourself some deeper reflections. Again, that's the moon energy, is this time of self-reflection. And the Hermit card is really about that. It's about going within and trying to seek inner wisdom. It's things that you already know, but you really just have to kind of still your mind. And again, meditation to, to let those things come out. So, I always like to mention that the Hermit is not illuminating. This light's not shining off into the distance for the whole year. It's just like, what is the next step? It's illuminating the next step for the Hermit. So, use this time and go within to find those wisdom nuggets from yourself that you need. Your current situation right now is that you're feeling a little bit like an outsider here with this 5 of Pentacles. So, figure out what, if it is kind of in the financial realm, there might be something that you're feeling like an outsider about. Sometimes it's not even having to do with finances or material things. Sometimes this can sometimes be the card of, what is it, kind of comparing yourself to others as well. Like comparison is the thief of joy. That's a saying that and just make sure that to not do that. But if you are feeling kind of left out in the cold, it can be not material. That's what I was going to say. It can be kind of emotional, where you just feel a little left out of something. So whatever that is, make sure you try to address that feeling that you're having. At the root of your situation this week is the moon. So there might be something that is coming in for you. The moon is our card of mystery. The moon is things that come in through the dark of the night. This could be a dream that you're having, synchronicities. This could be some sort of intuition or just feeling. And this could be why you're going within. All of these things kind of coming together to make you go within and like really think about things. And what is my next step? What is my intuition trying to say? What are these dreams that I'm having? What are those dreams saying? In your recent past here, Leo, is the Magician. So you might have just kind of made a decision recently to change something. I would have to go back and look through your past readings to see if this card came up prominently for you in the last few readings. But the magician is, are you working on something that you thought about again, if like maybe a few cycles back or whatever? And is that, something here that the magician said, what do you want to change? What do you want to work on? And that's in your past. So is it something, that you're working on going within, where you're working on that meditation, on really trusting your own intuition, trusting what your own inner voice says? And what does it say about this situation? If you're feeling like an outsider, go ahead and make that determination, I guess. What is on your mind this week is the 10 of Swords. So on your mind is something that you're just done with, something that you've been feeling done with, and maybe you just make the decision this week to go, you know what, that's it, I'm done. It could just be something intellectually, some thought pattern, some way of thinking that you're like, I'm not going to do that anymore, I'm not thinking that anymore, I've learned better. The hermit might let you and help you get over that, might get you to some sort of truth that's like, oh, let me look at this in a new way, and let me let go of that old way of thinking, that old way of communicating, because that is air energy, even though it's got you down and it's on your back. Again, it's an ending. It's something that you're just done thinking about. What is just ahead of you this week is the 5 of Cups, which is a little bit of kind of letting go. I do have to make note here about the hermit and this 5, both kind of looking down, both robed, gray and black, and the colors of the card that are a little, this one is a little bit gray. This is a little bit kind of, concentrating on those things that have gone by, those spilled emotional cups. But don't forget that you have some support behind you here, and things are kind of calm. You've got that water running. Water does signify emotions in the tarot. So um pay attention to those watery type things, but they're just things that happen and things that you kind of have to manage and deal with, and that might be why you're going within. It's like things gone by, and you're going to start to look at what things do you want to change. Confidence is your key to success. Don't lose that confidence, in the midst of these emotions and feeling like an outsider certain ways. What you need to do is turn that around and get and have a new way of thinking. Let go of this old, maybe negative way of thinking, and be more positive and confident. In your advice position, King of Wands, the advice is to, keep gaining knowledge on the thing that you're most passionate about. Just keep doing it. It looks like you're in a position to where you really do have a big amount of knowledge about something that you really care, and something that really keeps you, is just driving you. And don't stop. Let that continue. Keep gathering that knowledge, keep learning about it, because that seems to drive you right now, and it's something that you do need to, just continue with there. What is beyond your control this week is a little bit of anxiety, something that's kind of gnawing at you. It could be this thing that you're wanting to let go. Again, it could be why you're going within. Here we are at the turn of the year. Are you kind of, don't be so hard on yourself, looking at yourself when it comes to, the start of the year. Why does everything seem so dark right here? Does this camera not seem very dark? There, are those lights better? I just looked down and that all these cards seem very dark. Anyway, is there something that's kind of bugging you? Is there some way that you do want to change how you communicate or how you do different things? So think about that for the upcoming week, and don't overwhelm yourself so much. Again, we're at this New Year's point where people do kind of get buried down with these resolutions, like, oh, I've got to change this thing. You don't have to change it all right now. Just pick a thing and work on it, right? That's all you have to do. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid? Page of Cups. Is it your secret desire to kind of have a sense of humor about this, to kind of come at this in a new emotional way, or to, kind of come at something with new emotions, right? But, are you trying to have a sense of humor about it, or are you not? And that'll be a question for you to ask yourself. You'll know that instantly. You won't have to ask too hard, I'm sure. You're either laughing about whatever this is or not. In your outcome position is Queen of Cups. So, you're going to get out of this, the lesson that you're going to be learning is about your emotions, about how to manage your emotions, and about probably the emotions of others as well. Anytime you're talking about royalty, you're talking about not only yourself, but the people around you, your constituents. How are they managing things emotionally? And there might be things that you can look around and learn from those around you. That's why you get put in situations, right? It's all for your learning. What is hidden from you this week is the Six of Wands, which is kind of a little bit of, it's kind of a celebration of you, kind of just being patted on the back, a little bit of a, kind of a congratulatory, hey, you're doing a good job. And that's not really there for you this week. It might be something that you need. And maybe if it is something you need, do it to yourself. Give yourself, allow yourself to pat yourself on the back. You're doing a great job. If there's not anyone else standing there doing it for you, do it for yourself. Just be confident, be positive. Let's see. Let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Leo. All right. Soul Oracle deck says, bust out of your cocoon. So yeah, maybe if you're kind of, being that hermit, going within whatever, maybe talk to people, maybe start talking to your friends and your family about things that you're wanting to change, about kind of these emotional things that you're feeling, get out of your cocoon a little bit and just communicate with people. A lot of times anything that you're going through, someone else has probably already gone through it. So find someone to confide in and talk to about it. And you're going to get through. I don't see this as anything major, but it's causing you a little bit of stress this week. So you will get through it, but you do have to just work on brushing up your own confidence. It's usually not something Leos have an issue with, but you may have a little bit more issues this week with it. All right, let's see. Self-care for Leo, January 4th through 10th. Oh, these cards right here did not want to go back in. We're going to keep them. The first card for self-care is time. Time spent worrying is time spent. Yeah. Is it really something to worry about? Probably not. In the long run, usually not. Let it go a little bit. The next card is peace. Just because some people are fueled by drama doesn't mean you have to attend the performance. Make your life a drama-free zone. So maybe there is some sort of drama or something going on, and you don't need to be a part of it. You just don't. And it might just be annoying you. And maybe this is where you kind of feel like an outsider because you just don't want to do the drama. And I get it. I understand it. I'm someone that likes to avoid drama too. It's like, ugh, who needs it? So, Leo, thank you so much for being here. I do hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use. I'm sorry this seemed to get dark. This camera, I'll have to see what's going on with that. Maybe my lighting settings were weird on it right now, but anyway, I hope you're able to see enough. If you are comfortable sharing, you can drop me a comment down below. Let me know if any of this is resonating with you, or if you have any comments or questions, I'd be happy to answer those. Also, if you like my reading style, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps my channel and puts me out there in the algorithm, which I really do appreciate that. Most importantly, though, it'll help you find me next week, where you can come back and we can see if this continues or if there's a completely new energy here for you next week. So thanks again, Leo, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.